the janitor who became a millionaire. Marcus Hill stood alone in the hallway of a large office building in Chicago, pushing a mop across the polished floor while most of the city slept. The clock on the wall showed 2:17 a.m. outside the windows. Snow drifted through the cold night air. Inside, Marcus moved quietly from one floor to another, emptying trash cans, wiping desks, and cleaning the fingerprints from glass doors. At 32 years old, he earned just enough money to pay rent, keep the lights on, and buy groceries. Most people walked past him without noticing his name badge. To them, he was simply the janitor. Yet hidden behind his tired eyes was a dream that refused to die. He believed his life could become something greater, even when there was no evidence to support that belief. Marcus had not always imagined spending his nights cleaning office buildings. As a child, he loved books about business, inventors, and entrepreneurs. While other kids watched cartoons, Marcus read biographies of successful people who started with nothing and built extraordinary lives. He was fascinated by stories of individuals who transformed hardship into opportunity. He often told his mother that one day he would own a company. She would smile and tell him that dreams were powerful, but only if they were matched with effort. Those words stayed with him long after childhood ended. Life, however, rarely follows the plans we create. When Marcus was 19, his father suffered a serious illness that prevented him from working. Medical bills piled up quickly. Marcus dropped out of community college and took whatever jobs he could find to help support his family. He worked in warehouses, stocked shelves at grocery stores, and delivered packages. Every paycheck disappeared almost as quickly as it arrived. His dream of becoming a businessman faded beneath the weight of responsibility. Years passed. His father eventually recovered, but Marcus found himself trapped in a cycle familiar to millions of people. He worked hard every day, yet financial freedom remained far away. When an opportunity arose to become a janitor at a downtown office complex, he accepted it. The job offered stable hours and reliable income. Stability was something he desperately needed, but stability came with a hidden cost. Each year looked exactly like the one before it. One evening, while cleaning a conference room on the 23rd floor, Marcus noticed a book someone had left behind. The title was simple, The Compound Effect. Curious, he opened it during his break. The book explained how small actions repeated consistently over time could create extraordinary results. The message struck him with surprising force. He realized he had spent years believing success required a dramatic breakthrough. Perhaps success was not one giant leap. Perhaps it was thousands of tiny steps taken without quitting. That night became a turning point. Marcus started waking up 2 hours earlier every day. Instead of sleeping until noon after his shift ended, he spent those hours learning. He watched free business lectures online. He read books about investing, marketing, sales, and entrepreneurship. He filled notebooks with ideas. While many people around him complained about their circumstances, Marcus quietly invested in knowledge. He understood something important. Before his financial situation could change, his mindset had to change. The process was not glamorous. There were no viral social media posts, no instant success stories, and no sudden windfalls. Most mornings, Marcus sat alone at a small kitchen table with a second-hand laptop and a cup of inexpensive coffee. Sometimes exhaustion made it difficult to focus. Sometimes he questioned whether his efforts mattered at all. Yet he continued because he knew consistency often looks boring before it becomes powerful. As he learned more about personal finance, Marcus discovered how little he understood about money. For years, he had believed earning more money was the only path to wealth. Now he realized that managing money was equally important. He created a budget and tracked every dollar he spent. He eliminated unnecessary expenses. He stopped buying things to impress people who barely noticed him. Instead, he began saving a portion of every paycheck, no matter how small. At first, his savings grew painfully slowly. Some months he managed to save only $50. Other months he saved $100. Friends laughed when he talked about investing such small amounts. They argued that meaningful wealth could not be built with tiny contributions. Marcus ignored the criticism. He understood that habits matter more than amounts in the beginning. The habit of investing was more valuable than the size of the investment. Within 2 years, Marcus had accumulated enough savings to begin investing in index funds. He studied the stock market carefully. Rather than chasing quick profits, he focused on long-term growth. He learned about patience. He learned that wealth often rewards discipline more than intelligence. Every month, regardless of market conditions, he invested consistently. Sometimes the market rose, sometimes it fell. Marcus continued anyway. During this period, he noticed something interesting while cleaning offices. Many successful business owners worked in the building where he spent his nights. Instead of viewing them with envy, he viewed them as teachers. Whenever opportunities arose, he asked thoughtful questions. Most were surprised that a janitor wanted to discuss entrepreneurship. Some ignored him. Others offered valuable advice. Marcus listened carefully to every lesson. One executive shared a piece of wisdom Marcus never forgot. "Your current job pays your bills," the executive said. "Your future depends on what you do after your job." That sentence became Marcus's personal motto. Inspired by the advice, Marcus began exploring ways to generate additional income. He considered dozens of business ideas before noticing a recurring problem in the office complex. Many small businesses struggled to maintain clean workspaces at affordable prices. Existing cleaning companies often charged rates that smaller firms could not justify. Marcus saw an opportunity hidden inside the work he already understood. Using savings he had carefully accumulated, Marcus purchased basic cleaning equipment and started a small cleaning service. During the day, he contacted local businesses. At night, after finishing his janitorial shift, he cleaned offices for his own clients. The workload was exhausting. Some days he slept only 4 hours. Yet every completed job strengthened his reputation. The early months were difficult. Finding customers required persistence. Rejections arrived frequently. Some business owners never returned his calls. Others promised opportunities that never materialized. Marcus learned that entrepreneurship involved far more disappointment than social media success stories suggested. Still, each rejection taught him something useful. Gradually, his client list expanded. One satisfied customer recommended him to another. That customer recommended him to 3 more. Word-of-mouth marketing began working in his favor. Marcus focused obsessively on quality. He believed that if he delivered exceptional service, growth would eventually follow. His strategy proved correct. 3 years after launching the company, his side business generated more income than his janitorial job. The decision to leave his stable position terrified him. For over a decade, the janitor job had represented security. Walking away felt risky, yet Marcus understood that growth often requires courage. After months of careful planning, he submitted his resignation. On his final night, he cleaned the same hallways he had walked for years. As he pushed his mop across the floor one last time, he reflected on the journey. The building had witnessed his transformation. These corridors had seen him struggle, learn, fail, improve, and persist. The janitor was leaving, but the lessons remained. Running his cleaning company full-time introduced new challenges. Managing employees, handling payroll, acquiring customers, and maintaining quality demanded skills he was still developing. Mistakes were inevitable. He hired the wrong people. He lost clients. He made poor business decisions. Yet, unlike earlier periods of his life, failure no longer discouraged him. He viewed every setback as tuition in the school of experience. As revenue increased, Marcus resisted the temptation to inflate his lifestyle. While many entrepreneurs celebrated early success by purchasing luxury cars and expensive homes, Marcus remained disciplined. He continued investing aggressively. He reinvested profits into expanding the business. He understood that wealth is often destroyed by impatience. 5 years later, his company operated across multiple cities. Hundreds of businesses relied on his services. He employed dozens of workers, many of whom came from backgrounds similar to his own. Marcus took pride in creating opportunities for others. He remembered how difficult financial hardship could be and wanted his company to become a bridge toward better futures. His investments also continued growing steadily. The stock market rewarded his long-term consistency. Additional investments in real estate created new income streams. For the first time in his life, money began working for him instead of requiring constant labor. One afternoon, Marcus met with his financial advisor to review his net worth. As they examined the numbers, the advisor smiled. "Congratulations," he said. "You've officially crossed $1 million." The words felt surreal. Marcus sat quietly for several moments. There was no dramatic celebration. No fireworks. No sudden transformation. He was the same person who had once cleaned office floors at 2 in the morning. Yet years of disciplined effort had produced a result many people considered impossible. The milestone meant more than money. It represented proof that circumstances do not have to determine destiny. Marcus had not inherited wealth. He had not won a lottery. He had not discovered a secret shortcut. His success emerged from ordinary actions performed consistently over an extraordinary period of time. News of his journey eventually spread through local business communities. People invited him to speak about entrepreneurship and personal development. Audiences often expected a magical formula for success. Instead, Marcus shared simple principles. He talked about responsibility. He talked about patience. He talked about continuous learning. He talked about discipline. Most importantly, he talked about persistence. "People see the millionaire," he would say. "They don't see the years when nobody believed in me. They don't see the nights I worked while others slept. They don't see the sacrifices, the failures, or the doubts. Success isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the dark when nobody is watching." His message resonated because it was authentic. Marcus frequently returned to the office building where he had once worked as a janitor. The management team invited him to speak with employees about career growth and personal development. Walking through those familiar hallways always reminded him of how far he had come. During one visit, a young janitor approached him after a presentation. "Do you really think someone like me can build a better life?" the young man asked. Marcus smiled because he recognized the uncertainty in the man's eyes. Years earlier, he had carried that same uncertainty. "Absolutely," Marcus replied. "But don't focus on becoming a millionaire. Focus on becoming the kind of person who can create value, solve problems, and keep going when things get hard. The money follows the person you become." The young janitor nodded thoughtfully. Marcus knew that many people wanted inspiration, but fewer wanted the process that creates inspiration. Dreams are exciting. Discipline is repetitive. Goals are attractive. Habits are ordinary. Yet extraordinary lives are built through ordinary actions repeated consistently. As the years continued, Marcus expanded his investments, mentored entrepreneurs, and supported charitable causes in underserved communities. Financial success provided opportunities, but purpose provided fulfillment. He discovered that true wealth extended beyond bank accounts. One evening, long after becoming a millionaire, Marcus stood outside his company headquarters watching employees leave for the day. The sun painted the sky in shades of gold and orange. He thought about the young man he had once been, the exhausted janitor working night shifts and wondering whether life would ever improve. If he could speak to that younger version of himself, he would offer a simple message. Keep going. The breakthrough will not happen tomorrow. The rewards will not arrive quickly. People will doubt you. You will doubt yourself. You will fail. You will struggle. You will feel invisible. But if you continue learning, continue improving, continue serving others, and continue showing up every day, your future can become larger than your current circumstances. Marcus understood a truth many people never discover. Success rarely belongs to the most talented person in the room. More often, it belongs to the person who refuses to quit. The janitor who became a millionaire did not change the world through a single brilliant idea. He changed his world through thousands of small decisions made consistently over many years. Every book he read, every dollar he saved, every skill he learned, every risk he took, and every obstacle he overcame contributed to a future that once seemed impossible. His story became a reminder that greatness often begins in ordinary places. Sometimes it starts in a small apartment with a second-hand laptop. Sometimes it starts during a lonely night shift. Sometimes it starts when nobody believes in your potential except you. The distance between where you are and where you want to be may feel overwhelming. Yet every extraordinary journey begins with one decision. The decision to move forward despite uncertainty. Marcus made that decision. And because he did, the janitor became a millionaire. If Marcus's journey inspired you, remember this. Your current situation does not define your future. Every great success story begins with a single decision to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the road may seem. If you enjoyed this story and want more powerful motivation, life-changing success stories, and mindset-building content, please like, share, and subscribe to Zenvoro Mind. Your support helps us create more inspiring videos that empower people around the world to chase their dreams and unlock their true potential.